Alright Marty, welcome to my compost area. This is a sole area for container gardening. Now we have two inputs here and we have a third one that will be in the bucket down there, but basically we mix it up here on site. They are commercial inputs that we bring in from an external source, but they are customized to my specifications. So for example, I have a drainage type compost and I have a water retention type compost, which we then mix together at certain ratios, and then we add finally, as the NPK value of it, a blend of seaweed fines, what else, sort of potassium and calcium in organic forms.
Okay, so that's the elements for them to uptake inside the pot. So instead of adding like nitrates and things like that, you're using organic fertilizers and systems basically to put into the potting mixes. Now you've got two different types of mediums, so tell us about the two different types of mediums, what you have.
Sure. The medium here on my right, or maybe your left, is a composted bark material, and it also has an element that is an organic type of perlite. Now it's a wood shaving and it's certified organic, but you know, conventional farming they use perlite. I use this fiber. That's the best way I can put it. It's a fiber. We can go up close and have a look at it. That adds your drainage aspect. And on the left to me is another commercial input from a composting farm that's local to me called Living Farm Australia. Now they compost down hot composting, and it's a nitrogen rich mix of they add in their own composted manures, and it takes them about 12 months to make a batch, and we mix them together with the fertilizer input I said earlier. What do you want to do? Pick up some? Alright.
So we're diving in to have a look at the pile here, mate, and we're talking about, this is not retention pile, this is pile A.
This is pile A, and let's call it drainage pile A. So it's a blend of the pine bark, and as I was saying earlier, those fibers, those wood fibers. Now they're and it's a blend of rock mineral dusts. We use a blue metal dust and other rock minerals that are natural and organic. And now this ratio in our mix is 60%. So we want this, particularly for microgreens, because they're fast growers. We want the roots to be able to go all the way down and easily move through the medium. So
yeah, so it's a fibrous blend, is what we're saying.
Yes,
so
yeah, exactly.
Not everyone's going to get the same blends, but one of the things, the problems that I see wrong with these mediums when you buy them, it's either one or the other, and you're blending the two together to get a better mix, which I really like. So this has really good drainage, but it's not going to store much moisture, right?
That's correct.
So the pots could dry out really quickly if you were just to use that.
Absolutely. And like you said, the potting mixes you buy from the shops, they're quick money for the companies, but not a lot of thought going into it.
Let's have a look at the other pile so people can understand, because
Sure.
you can make this with a lot of different things, just with different carbon blends and things like that, and putting your minerals and stuff into it, and then using a compost, say from a compost tumbler at home, to make something like this. Now you'd be pretty hard pressed to get something as good as this quickly, because this takes about 12 months to make. But just give us a look at, so this is what we call a retention compost, right?
Okay, and I call it black gold. Now this is commercially made, high water retention, beautiful microbe activity, lots of little sticks and stuff. I call it little condos for the microbes. You know, there's somewhere to live and breed. But once this is wet, like this is a bit dry, but now our ratio of that is about 35%. So it'll be your water retention, and mixing them. See, this is dry mix and it's still sort of holding together if I do that. Yeah,
so little sticks and twigs is where the microbes and fungi and stuff like that's going to attach itself to.
Yes.
Which is going to help the plants grow, and they're feeding the soil basically.
And that's where we feed the microbes with the 5% fertilizer or additive input of seaweed meal and rock minerals and things like that. at the cement mixer.
Right. So basically, if someone's going to do something like this at home, they can do it in a compost tumbler to get something really close.
Yeah.
By maybe just throwing in all their veggie scraps, all their everything, and just making sure no weed seeds and things come up, I guess.
Absolutely, you can do it at home. Like, we're a commercial farm, so you don't have to imagine a pile like this. But if you're doing some small container gardens or some raised beds, just keep it going, you know.
Yeah, so if they're doing 2 blends, a retention blend, and what's the other blend?
Drainage.
And drainage. Mix them together.
Mix them together, and you know, you don't want too much retention, you don't want too much drainage. But for me, to grow microgreens, it's a 60-40 type blend. For you, you could probably go 50-50.
So in a big pot, 50-50?
Big pot, 50-50.
And what about, like, if you're doing like a hack at the end, would you put like a little bit more of the compost at the bottom of the pot?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
And
just to hold a bit of extra retention.
I do a bit of lasagna in the bottom, and then put my mixed.
So the lasagna's making sort of some levels towards the bottom of the pot. So that's just, you know, sometimes that's overkill, but
it's just us.
Yeah, it's just something you guess that maybe that little bit extra 5% better than someone else, right? And
absolutely, mate.
Sometimes that shines through in the results. So thank you so much for showing us a part of your composting system. That is just absolutely brilliant.
This is, yeah, thanks, Marty.